We continue our midterm discussion now with New York congressional candidate Mike Lawler. Mike, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're very busy today. We also know that your district was one of those redrawn this year, leading you to face off against Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney. Do you think that redistricting will work in your favor? Will it work in Republicans' favor?
Oh, absolutely. And the Democrats and Sean Maloney have nobody to blame but themselves. Earlier this year, Sean Maloney sent a memo to state Democrats demanding that they gerrymander New York's congressional maps. And they did. And ultimately, the courts threw them out. A Democrat-appointed Court of Appeals threw it out, said it was gerrymandered, appointed a special master to draw fair maps. And we have the potential tonight to walk out of New York with 12 to 13 seats because of that. And I believe tonight, when voters have their say, we will be the face of the red wave. And New York will end Nancy Pelosi's reign as Speaker once and for all.
It seems like the New York Post, now we know the New York Post is not always a liberal bastion, but they said of Sean Patrick Maloney addressing Democratic voters, Democrats should reject Maloney because he's a clueless, dirty dealing pig. So, I mean, those are pretty strong words. I only read them to you to just have you comment on it because there are people all over the country looking at that in New York. How do people understand what's going on in that district?
Well, I think what we've seen with Sean Maloney is he only cares about himself. He pushed Mondaire Jones, the first openly gay black man, out of Congress to run in this district. And over the last few weeks, he has siphoned off millions of dollars from other Democrats around the country, Democrats that he's tasked with ensuring their victory to save himself. But it's not going to work because voters across this district understand that Sean Patrick Maloney is part of the problem. He has voted 100% of the time with Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. He said that cashless bail was his top priority. And voters recognize that the policies that have been enacted under one-party rule in Washington and Albany and in New York City have created an absolute mess. And they're ready to throw the bums out, frankly, and restore balance and ensure that common sense policies are enacted at every level of government. And that's why we're going to win tonight. And I think it'll be a pretty decisive win.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more. You touched on it briefly there about the amount of money that is being sent out to Democratic candidates, not just your district, but really across the country in races that many perhaps in the mainstream media and other Democrats had deemed were not going to be competitive at all. You would think if anyone would be ahead, perhaps it would be the chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. But as you said, he's out there trying to beg for money and taking it from other candidates. How significant is that to you, that you think that the Democratic Party is having to spend so much money to fight candidates like you?
Well, listen, it speaks volumes to how competitive this race is, that they've had to siphon off millions of dollars, and that Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Jill Biden have all had to come in some fashion or another and try to save him. It's not going to work. And part of the reason is 75% of this district is new to him. He only represents a quarter of the population currently. I represent about 20% currently in the state assembly. So he doesn't have that built-in advantage of incumbency. 50% of households in this district have a cop, a firefighter, a veteran, or a first responder living in it. People are looking at what's going on and they're fed up and they want change. And Sean Patrick Maloney is very much the problem. And I think tonight voters across this district are going to serve him Chef Boyardee, but they're going to serve him cold.
Yeah, by the way, that's a reference to, he was campaigning, Sean Patrick Maloney. And he was talking about how tough things were. That when he was growing up, when things were tough, they'd have to eat Chef Boyardee, which is an insult to all the people that are eating Chef Boyardee as we speak. And are just fine with it. In fact, it was kind of special when I was growing up. So,
but not
that
coming
was
up
the
with
reference.
a solution, so people have more money and they can get whatever they want instead of the solution saying,
it just shows how out of touch he is. I mean,
exactly.
Just a few weeks ago was gallivanting around the globe to Paris and London and Geneva to raise money for Nancy Pelosi. He doesn't understand the struggle that people are facing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Lawler, thank you, sir.